There are now thousands of MCP servers popping up everywhere you look. I use 5, and those 5 are the reason I don't have to leave Cursor to do 90% of my work anymore. Today, I'm going to show you exactly which ones they are, why each one made the cut, and why everything else got cut. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol, and it's basically like a USB port where you can plug anything in and connect it. We have Cursor, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Grok. They all have it now, also known as connectors. And suddenly, the AI has access to things it couldn't touch before. MCP servers can be installed at 2 levels. We have global and project specific. Global means every project gets it. Project level means that it's scoped just to that one code base. I like to keep MCP servers at the global level lean for this exact reason, because they're the ones I reach out to for every single day. Let's go and dive in. Firstly, we have context 7. So if I just enable this right here and expand it, we can see that it actually talks about the tools and what it actually does. And context 7 is effectively an MCP server where it'll always fetch the latest. It's an older MCP server. I'm not quite sure if it's still relevant nowadays as LLMs just continue to get better, but I have found a good use of it to be able to just, if you want to resource any documents, this is a free MCP server that's very light, which just has 2 tools in order to be able to retrieve up-to-date information, which you can see right here. I don't want to move the mouse because it's going to come, but you can see right here it queries docs to retrieves and queries up-to-date information for code examples from context 7. So what they do is they keep a library or a repository nice and up to date. And then we have just a lookup for the ID. So, I could demonstrate it, but if I just said, look up the recent MCP or the recent documents to this and make sure you use context 7 MCP, it'll actually call the tool and then retrieve it. Whereas if you were to just do like, hey, search documents for this or that or whatever, you just never know if you're getting the most up to date. So for that reason, I think that this is easily one of the most useful global ones. The second one is Firecrawl. So Firecrawl is a really popular web scraping MCP server, and it actually is really reliable. It's one of my favorites. I know there's a lot of them out there. You can do a lot of web scraping tasks for basically free now. It's almost like electricity at this point. But Firecrawl MCP, the biggest thing about that is that infrastructure and speed is really key in order to be able to retrieve anything like that. So if I were to just go to Cursor Agent and say, use Firecrawl MCP to scrape and tell me what top of funnel does. And since I told it to use actual Firecrawl MCP, it's going to go ahead and call that. And for this purpose, I'm using Composer 2.5, which is one of Cursor's latest models, which I've actually been really impressed with it. You could just see right here, it just rips. It goes so fast. And I can say it's probably because they're on Colossus, which is SpaceX's massive infrastructure. And it's a fine-tuned Kimi K2.5. And it's, I've been actually really impressed with it. I've been coding with it, doing a lot of things that I would otherwise ask Opus to do, and it rips. So speed is everything, I'm just saying. So you can see right here that it did call Firecrawl. So you can see this right here where it actually does it. Okay. And then, it says basically what our agency does, and then it's everything here. So what I've done is I scraped the website and it pulled the website metadata and in Markdown versus all the HTML and all the things. When it pulled it into the context window for me to be able to understand and navigate with it, right? So it is now in my context window, which you can see right here. We have context usage is still very lean, which we have a lot of context window, basically memory to actually keep working here. So that is Firecrawl. And if you go to firecrawl.dev, this is not a paid sponsor or anything like that, but Firecrawl, in my opinion, is one of the best scrapers out there because it's reliable. So no complaints there. The next one is Grep. Now, Grep, you're like, what the heck is Grep, right? Well, what it does is it effectively searches GitHub. So Grep is a command line where it can just retrieve basically the entire world of GitHub, and it can actually see code examples. It could give you some boilerplate code to actually see what's out there. It can pull stars. It can pull as far as ranks of repos and things like that. And what this does is the AI models are trained on specific code bases or repositories that you may not be aware of. And the model will think, oh, I know how to do this, but then let me grep really popular repo. And it actually might get some insights on what was actually coded in order to just get your project project that much further. So if I were to just start another agent here and I say, what are some of the most popular repos on GitHub? Use Grep MCP to do this. Again, I'm telling the agent to use Grep MCP to actually see what it is. And you can see right here, it's about to call the Grep MCP. And just like that, it's ripping through all these calls right here. It's ran a search. Now it's going through. All right. And done. Cool. All right. The Grep MCP searches for literal code and text patterns across GitHub. Like Grep, it's not a star ranking API. It cannot directly answer top repos by stars, but we can use it to verify and explore well-known popular repositories. So it kind of infers with that. So we have contributions. Okay. So we have some educational and curated lists, some frameworks. Basically, I can use Grep to search GitHub and actually pull in context for a lot of different things that effectively are in GitHub. And I'm telling you, GitHub is basically like a candy store, especially open source projects like that. Next up, we have Peekaboo. So, as the name implies, it actually is one of my favorites. It was actually built by Peter Steinberger of OpenClaw. And what this does is it turns your computer literally into an agent. And I mean like literally. So it will do all the gestures, okay? It will do all the clicks, the keyboards, the analyze, the menus, the hotkeys, the windows. Like it literally doesn't matter what window you're on, anything that you're doing. It will literally, as if you were to physically click the keyboard or type something in, do everything that you need to. This is super powerful. So like Spider-Man, with great power comes with great responsibility, and you want to be super specific. Otherwise your computer is going to be driving. You're like, what the heck's going on, right? You need to find like your harness and hit stop or escape, something like that. So this is actually a repository, an open source repo that I made some contributions to. So I'm personally a huge fan, having fixed a few things. But if you notice this right here, what we're going to do is we're going to hit the plus, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, and we have Chrome up here, right? So firstly, not to detract you, but this is the repository. We have OpenClaw that made it, and well, Peter Steinberger, and Peekaboo, right? So we could see here, Peekaboo is a Mac OS CLI and optional MCP server that enables AI agents to capture screenshots of applications or the entire system with optional visual, okay? Oh, and it's in Swift, which is beautiful. And we have this wonderful Peekaboo to do all sorts of things. This is literally on all of my computers because I can visually see it navigating and doing things and clicking through. It's making the agent of agents to be able to do a lot of things, right? And so let me see if the settings will actually pop up. There it is. So we have Peekaboo right here. We have launch at login. Okay, pretty self-explanatory. I can enable agent mode, which means if I click up here, I can actually type, and that's effectively a harness. We have visualizers, so it could do all sorts of like animation types to know that it's actually clicking or doing a mouse trail and doing all sorts of things and being able to do a lot of that stuff, right? We have shortcuts, we have permissions. Then of course we have the good old about, right? So I have found it to be super effective because if I were to just go right here and I say, use Peekaboo MCP to pull up a new Chrome tab and then go to, let's see here, LinkedIn, go to topoffunnel.com/resources. And let's see if it does it. So we're going to open up a new tab. I'm just going to have my hands off right here and we'll see what happens. I'm kind of flying blind right here, but it's actually going to probably, well, it's going to first take over Chrome. Now, here's the thing. See, there it is. It's actually literally typing it in. There it is. And it's done really quick. Now, the difference here is that it will be on at the computer level. So it's on the OS level of an actual app. Whereas if you use something like browser use or Chrome CDP is what it's called, which is Chrome Dev Tools Protocol, that is confined to your actual browser, but there's pros and cons to both. So there's a lot of different things you can do, but I could literally say, pull up my messages app and type a text message, or pull up Slack and type a message and do this. It will actually invoke anything that you want to on a computer. Now this is super powerful because again, you are the main driver or the operator of your computer. So if you're multitasking or doing something, you just like, you know what? I just want to talk my way through it. I don't really want to do anything, and it's just going to do it, right? Now I can say, use Peekaboo to take a screenshot of this screen. and it will actually display inside of my agent window here. So you can pull that into context to know like, hey, what am I looking at? And it's going to know. It doesn't matter what is on there, right? So normally it displays right here, but you can see there it is, right? There is the actual image there, which pulls it into context. So that is Peekaboo, which is one of my favorite. Next up, we have ClickUp. Now, I've designed my own project management tool. There's a lot of them out there, but I also have a team, and ClickUp is one of the easiest that we've really just streamlined to make sure that projects are being done, clients are getting taken care of, and tasks are done, right? Well, one of the cool thing is too, is I have this on the global level because I want to be whatever project that I'm in and just be like, all right, just add to ClickUp MCP and do this task, assign it to so-and-so, right? Or if I need to remember something and I just on a whim, I don't want to have to go into ClickUp and type it in and that kind of thing. All that kind of stuff doesn't take a lot of time, but it actually starts to add up if you really think about it. So if I were to bring up a new context window again, and I'm going to start fresh, we're going to say use ClickUp MCP to add to top of funnel under tofu tasks, and just make a task that says this is a demo and assign to me, which is Brandon, and make the due date today. On that, put in the description that this is a demo of using ClickUp MCP. ClickUp, and hopefully I can move it faster than it comes up. So we can see right here, we're just looking at it, and we'll see if the actual task. So you can see right here, this is a demo. Cool. All right. And then we have, let's see here. It's an idea. Okay. Let's see. It didn't assign it to me. So that's interesting. It didn't actually assign it. Oh, it said assigning me, but it didn't actually do that. So let's see. All right. You forgot to assign it to me, which is Brandon. And then we're going to go ahead and it's running through the test. There it is. Now, if I were to click on this, you can clearly see this is a demo use. So I have full control over all that stuff. And now if I said move that to do, it's going to update the actual from ideas to do. Okay. And then if I said now move it to done, we can switch and now it's done. Perfect. So that is what I call leverage on being able to actually use ClickUp. And so think of it like this. If I have a sales call and if I'm pulling the Zoom transcript or whatever transcriber you use, I could literally put that into the context or our cursor agent or OpenClaw. And if I have the ClickUp MCP or the CLI, which is again on my website, then it does the same thing. So I can effectively use a harness to be able to do a lot of that stuff autonomously, right? So this is the key here is keep your your global level MCPs as lean as possible. If I know, for example, I'm going to do a bunch of stuff, and then in here you can toggle them off, and I would encourage you to do that as you initialize new chats. The leaner that you do this, the better you're going to be, because you can see right here that every time you enable an MCP server, this actually takes a good chunk of your context window without you even saying anything. And what I mean by that is there's a specific amount of context in which you can compress and actually say whatever you want to say, and there's going to be usually the sweet spot, which is usually in the middle. If you start to get to the tail end of the actual context window, you're going to start to, if you don't steer the AI model correctly to be focused, it actually could start to really kind of fall off the rails, right? And if you get to the end of it and it starts to do what you call a summarization or a compaction, then there's going to be loss of context. So the goal here is to start your conversations out with as lean as possible. So that's everything as far as I want to talk about to, MCP servers when it comes to global level and project level. In the next video, what I'm going to do is go deeper on the last one, which is building your own MCP server from scratch. We're also putting more of this into our agents like OpenClaw and Hermes agent. So if you want to follow along with how that's evolving, I'll just drop a link in the description. If you made it to this point, just really appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.